Welcome to 3E's Comedy Club's podcast, Comedy and Community. All right, welcome to 3E's Comedy Club podcast, Comedy and Community. Welcome all. This is our first shot. Hopefully not our last, as long as we stay in business, which we will. But welcome. We're going to just kind of give you an info today, some information on why we did this. I'm here with my sidekick Jesse / comedian / cook / and we're gonna try to give you a lot of information on why we did this, why I started this comedy club, why we're here, things about the community, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Interesting place. I'm originally from Cleveland. So during these podcasts, as long as it's football season, you'll be hearing a little bit about the Cleveland Browns. And what's good about this is that Jesse doesn't have a team, so we can't go back and forth. So
nope. He
doesn't like football at all. I've never met anyone that doesn't like football, but that's okay. But yeah, we're gonna talk about comedy, where it's been for the last. I started in 1995, the changes that's there, up-and-coming comedians. We'll have some guest comedians on the show. We'll have some people from the community on the show. So we'll make it fun. We're going to make it fun. So stay tuned. It's just the beginning. And we're going to just talk about a couple things just as an intro. So, Jess, you had a question for me?
I'm actually curious about when you were younger as a comedy fan, because you asked me right now who are the big comics I'm into, I could name them. Right. Growing up, who were your big comics that you were into?
Man, if I tell you that, that'll tell you how old I am. Shit. I mean, shoot. Can I say shit? I guess so.
It's your show.
It's my show, right? Say what the hell I want to say. No. When I was coming up, there was a comedian called comic called Flip Wilson. He's kind of did some ladies. He dressed up as a lady, Geraldine. I liked Lucille Ball, Phyllis Diller, of course Richard Pryor, Moms Mabley. It was a ton of comedians that I loved growing up. So.
And how have you noticed comedy changing from the way they used to do it now to the comics you're seeing today?
I started doing comedy in Atlanta in the 90s. I was a promoter. I thought I was a promoter, promoting comedians. So I would have to talk to them, which I learned a lot. People like Shucky Ducky, Bruce, Rodman, Tyler Craig, those cats in that comedy scene, Earthquake, back in the day. A lot different. They were honest about their comedy, They were honest about, if they were really funny or not. They would grind to make sure they were. Their jokes were right. They kind of stuck together, and were honest with each other.
Do you feel like comedy's gotten better, worse, or kind of stayed the same throughout the years? I think are the comedians of today better than the comedians of 10, 15 years ago?
I don't know if I can say better. I think the comedians, some of them just are getting their due now, which is crazy to me, because they're great.
Even Earthquake's just now starting to get his due.
And he's been a beast forever, and a good dude. And it's they're just now getting their due. Mm-hmm. We're in an age of how many likes do you have, how many followers. Sometimes that generates or into fans or people coming or putting butts in the seats, and sometimes it doesn't.
But we've seen people with a lot of followers that aren't very funny.
Right.
So that doesn't equate to talent necessarily.
I'm not going to mention any names, but
ticket sales you can't argue with.
You can't. Yeah. We've seen some people come in at they sold a lot of tickets, but they weren't funny because it's an art, and that's why I always loved it. I love the courage that comedians have to get on stage and work, and they might not do good this week, but they're coming back next week, and it's just and the crowds that you have when you go to a comedy club, it's couples, it's ladies, it's people are coming to laugh and have a good time, which is great.
How did you end up picking on the path of promotion as opposed to actually doing comedy?
As a promoter, man, I was once called by a comedy club owner. Said I was a hustler, which you could consider that because what you're doing, you're getting shows, and I was in the military at the time, so I would bring them to posts, promote a show, bring them to a club, and when you're doing that, you're really not, you don't have any control of that show. Because, the bar, wherever they are, you just get the door. But you're flying in everybody, you're setting it up, you're doing a lot of work. So I, again, always like the crowd. So the best way to do that was to, come out and start your own club. Unfortunately, we started in the middle of a pandemic. Not planned, but we started. We opened September 2020, right in the middle. So it was interesting. We had to keep going, but we're still here for now. But it's a lot of challenges.
Meaning we're getting a new location, not
hopefully
going
hopefully.
away.
Yeah. We it's just been like every small business. It's been a challenge. My day job. Well, I can't tell you my day job because it's a federal job, so we're gonna leave that a secret. But it's just been a challenge for all small businesses, and I do a lot of things with small businesses. So, but we're here. You will your way through something, you'll get through it. So that's where we're at right now. We still have a great lineup coming in, and I'm looking forward to speaking to them and bringing them on the show, and having them on our stage. So,
is there any comic that you'd like? Be cool to get that guy here. Other than Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr,
man,
other than those guys.
Those are all, that's what we want. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We're in a different city, Colorado Springs, and we're going to talk about that a little bit as well as far as the city that we're in. Again, I'm originally from Cleveland. Military brought me to Colorado Springs. But Colorado Springs has 5 military posts. It's a kind of conservative city. Second largest city in Colorado, and I think for the most part, they're still getting acclimated to national comedians. We do have a comedy club here, but they're not doing the things that. And no offense to them, no offense to that club, but we're doing some things a little different. We're bringing in some really high name, high caliber comedians here. So I think people are getting used to that. So it's kind of hard to get people in to some of the shows.
Well, I like one of our comics, Alonzo Bolden, said. He's like, you got to get them used to paying for comedy.
Right.
Like, it's not free. You want great comedy, it's not free.
It's not free. And it shouldn't be, I understand giving away tickets sometimes, but, let's not cheapen comedy.
Well, that really dictates the acts that you can bring in.
Right. So, but we've brought in some great acts so far, and I'm proud of that. So, and we'll keep doing that. But Colorado Springs is I've been part of the city since I've been here. Served on the planning commission, on the housing authority now for the city. Been involved in a lot of city initiatives, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get involved in the city and kind of make them aware and help people that can't help themselves. So I was into that before we opened the club.
Before you opened the club, were there any other businesses that you were like, that could work? Or were you just like, no, we're doing a comedy club?
Man, I had a property management company before I opened. We did HOAs, homeowners associations.
Yeah.
That wasn't a passion. That was a way that I felt we could make money. But the market crashed back then. I think that was 2000 something, 13, 12, somewhere around there. And so it wasn't a passion. And I always talk to people about if you're starting a business, be passionate about what you're doing. Because when the going gets rough, you want to, that'll get you through it, being passionate about it. So comedy clubs is my passion. So, I'm gonna grind as long as I can to make
Didn't
sure.
foresee that the club also was like, now you run a kitchen and a bar too, huh?
What's that?
I said, now you got to run a kitchen and a bar too.
Oh my
I didn't see that coming.
Oh man. Well, I knew we had to. We had to do that, and it was I learned a lot. Still learning a lot. I think we have a pretty good menu. But again, in totality, we want to have a place that you can go sit down, have a bite to eat, have a nice drink, and enjoy comedy. We open up for other things here as well, different events and things. But our main deal is comedy, and we're trying to be creative with it. We're gonna do some shows. Our open mic is great. We're trying to push some off the cuff comedy. We have an improv group that works out here. They're they're a good group of people. But yeah, we try to make everything comedy here. So yeah, it's been fun. It's a journey, and we still have a ways to go in this city. So
tell the people why we're obviously better than Comedy Works.
I won't say that. But, I won't say Comedy Works is a really good club. They've been around a long time. Wendy up there has done a great job. We're not better. We're just getting our feet. We're new. We're the new kids on the block.
Well, I've been on the stage, so I think Threes is better.
Okay, you're a little biased as well.
A little biased.
Yeah, but I think we're. It's just been like I said, challenging. We are better. I think we do things a little differently than some other clubs, but I think we're. Like I said, I give her much props up there. She's doing a great job with one club and opening up another. Great business lady. So not just on the comedy side, just on business.
As a business person.
Yeah, and she's she knows comedy. She's been around a lot longer, I believe, than I have in that arena. But some people haven't. Some people are just doesn't have any love for it. They just got a place because they want to have a place. And I was talking to one comedian, and she was telling me that she goes to some comedy clubs where the owners are comedians, and they take up 45 minutes of headliner time because they want to be funny as well. They want to get on stage. I am not funny, like, at all.
You do all right with your speeches.
What's that?
You do all right with speeches.
I'm all right with speeches because I'm used to speaking to people, but I'm not getting up there trying to tell some jokes. That won't work for me.
Oh, you should do it. We can put it on the podcast.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that. And we're going to show, again, we're going to have other things here showing some of the events that go on in the city because we want you to get used to or understand how Colorado Springs works. So if you're a comedian and you're like, well, I heard Colorado Springs was, super conservative and blah, 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 blah. Well, we have different things going on. We're kind of in between. The city is not what you think it would be. It's just a different kind of town. So, but yeah, we want to let you, during these podcasts, we'll have some people on to talk, and we'll let you know what they're doing and how things are growing here. Our Olympic Museum and some other things because we're keeping it going here.
Because a big part of doing this podcast, the reasoning for it, just like getting the word out, right? Like This is what we're doing. This is where we got big plans in the future.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. See where we're going. Who we're bringing.
Yeah, and to get some that and to get we want you to hear from comedians and what they think, right? I think that's great for people. I think that's great for our up-and-coming comedians. That's going to be a big part, whoever we can get to come on this podcast.
And I watch a lot of comedy podcasts. I think we should try to keep it away from, so what was your biggest bomb?
Yeah. Because
I see a lot of that.
Right. Yeah. Everyone has them. I don't know if you want them to remember it.
Well, that's just everything I watch, and they interview comics. That's it. What's your biggest bomb? What's your writing process?
I don't want to get into that. I want to get into more of who you are, as a person. You know what I mean? That tells a lot about your comedy, right? Me as a person, I grew up in Cleveland. Mom had some mental illness. That's why we, as a club, we support anything that has to do with mental illness.
Yeah, comedians.
No, not some of them. But we, I am, again, grew up in Cleveland, went to the military. I am a veteran, and we just want to get to know people. I have 25 kids. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just 4. 2 girls, 2 boys, and I just want to, so when we talk to comedians, I want to know why what you're doing, what does comedy look like for you, since you've been in it, for the young and the old. We want to ask those type of questions, and whoever we can get on the show would be great. So we'll have some locals every now and again. We'll have some major headliners. We'll do that, and we'll get a couple of our city officials to come on the show and have some fun with that as well. So yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what we're going to try to do, or we are going to do. And what about you?
What about me?
Tell me about you and why you're sitting here on this podcast with me.
Because you said we should do a podcast on Tuesday.
Okay, man. Okay.
You mean like, why am I at the club? Why am I working here?
Yeah.
To stop working. That's the goal. 9 to 5, the 5 days a week. I don't love it. I don't love it. The comics come here. They make, a lot of them, decent money, and they're working maybe 4 hours that night. That seems like a great deal to me.
It is, but it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yes.
And I would tell people, I would tell you and other comedians, like I tell small business owners, keep your day job for a little while so you can eat.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
yeah. Until you get to that level where you're a business, because you are the business. As a comedian, you should conduct yourself as a business until that business is grown and is making money, right?
I mean, me personally, I have a young kid, so I don't want to be on the road right away.
Right.
So I was like, I got 8 years to get really good at this shit.
Right.
And then go hit the road.
Well, what you're talking about right there is something that a lot of people don't plan for. They don't have a plan.
Yeah.
They just say, I got on open mic stage, and I'm doing open mics for 2 months, and I'm ready for Netflix.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Well, I've heard so many big comics talk about other comics they know that like make it big when they have 5-10 minutes, and they're like, all right, great, let's go. What do you got? And they're like, I don't have fucking anything.
Right.
So
right.
there's no point in being discovered or people loving you or making it if you have nothing to offer.
Yeah, you have nothing in your toolbox. You look out in the crowd, and you can't read the crowd, and you go off of what you have, and you can't pull anything else out because you have nothing. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's
well, if you only have one thing and the crowd doesn't like it, it's gonna be a long hour.
It's gonna be a long
hour. If you're doing an hour,
hopefully nobody won't get you up there for an hour. Hopefully we'll get you up for 10. 7.
Yeah.
To start. But we are working with some good comedians that's growing here, like yourself.
I mean, we got a good community here, and I think a large part of that is this club opening up in the city. It's really grown the community a lot and made it more substantial.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, I think we did open some eyes and kind of put comedy on the map here.
Put a lot of opportunity in the city that didn't exist before.
Yeah. So, and that's a good thing, and we want to continue that. But yeah, man, this is gonna be a fun deal. You have to stop me if I start talking about my Cleveland Browns after a game.
We can edit it out.
Deshaun Watson, Baker, Staker, Mayfield, that's over with now. He's done. We beat
them. The Browns actually just won me like $50 the other day, so I'm all of a sudden a fan. So that's cool.
You're not a fan.
I'm on the bandwagon until they lose.
Yeah. Well, I won't say we got some good games coming up. So I am a diehard. I should have worn my shirt today. I have everything Cleveland Browns, from socks to drawers to everything Cleveland Browns.
You have Cleveland Brown glasses. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
You do have Cleveland Brown like frames?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll wear them one day. But yeah, we want to have fun. We're at 1 South Nevada, downtown Colorado Springs, Colorado. Again, if you haven't been here, check us out. If you're local, come out and check us out. If you haven't been to Colorado Springs, you'll enjoy it. I know when I got orders, I was in the military. They said, "Well, you going to Colorado Springs?" I'm like, what the hell is that? Is that like a country club or something? Colorado Springs. That was an interesting place, Fort Carson. Military. I was logistics, Pathfinder, airborne, all that good stuff. So have fun, enjoyed it, loved the military, but I had to start another chapter. So that's what I've done, and I'll have my sons on the show. The other E's and 3 E's, if you wanted to know, we'll have that on as well. So what else? What else we got, man?
What else would you like to cover?
So this weekend we have.
Is it Lulu this weekend?
No.
Francisco.
Yeah, Francisco Ramos this weekend. We have Lulu. We have Shane coming up. Mark Curry. We got some good comedians coming in. So we're going to try to get them in this podcast room, and one way or the other, maybe I'll hold a check until they come in. Yeah, but yeah, it's just been. We're going to do that, and it's been an adventure, and we're going to go into that adventure a little deeper on some of these shows we're going to do. So this is the first one. We're going to put this out somewhere in the ether.
Be on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
There you go. All of that stuff. I'm not good with all of that. I'm still trying to figure out my cell phone. So
you don't have to be.
So yeah, but again, tune in to 3 E's Comedy Club Podcast, comedy and community. You got anything, brother?
I know. That's it. I think we're out.
We're out.
We're out.